The country club ballroom was a sea of soft pastel blue decorations. Silk ribbons and blue balloons hung from every gold-covered chair. The air was filled with the scent of lilies and sweet vanilla candles. My sister Jennifer sat in the center of the hall on a velvet seat. She was 7 months pregnant and looked like a queen on her throne. She was busy accepting gifts from a long line of smiling relatives. I walked into the room with my son Marcus, who was 23. Marcus was a tall and quiet young man who usually kept to himself. He was carrying the gift we had spent several weeks choosing together. As we walked toward Jennifer, she announced our arrival very loudly. "Oh, look who decided to show up," she said with a sharp smirk. Many people in the room turned their heads to see who she meant. My sister and her son, well, Marcus, she added with a cold look. Marcus ignored her tone and placed the gift on the large gift table. "Congratulations, Aunt Jennifer, I am truly happy for you," he said. Jennifer's voice was full of sarcasm as she looked at my son. "How sweet, though I am surprised you actually came," she remarked. "Baby showers aren't really your scene, are they, Marcus?" she asked. I felt a familiar tension building in my chest as I watched them. "We wouldn't have missed this for anything," I said, trying to be calm. Jennifer's friend Amanda laughed from a table covered in blue ribbons. "Well, I guess family is family, right?" Amanda said with a shrug. The gift-opening ceremony began shortly after the snacks were served. Jennifer made a huge performance out of every single present she opened. She gushed over the tiny baby shoes and the soft hand-knitted blankets. Then she reached our gift, which was a collection of educational toys. We had researched these items for weeks to help with brain development. Jennifer held up a set of sensory blocks with a very puzzled expression. "These are certainly interesting choices," she told the guests. "Very practical, I suppose, but not exactly fun," she said loudly. Marcus explained quietly that they were for early childhood growth. He told her the textures help babies learn through the sense of touch. Jennifer interrupted him and laughed as if he had said something silly. "Oh, so Marcus knows everything about babies now?" she mocked. Several guests in the room laughed along with her at my son's expense. "Did you take one little online course and become an expert?" she asked. Marcus tightened his jaw and looked away, but he did not say a word. My mother leaned over and told Jennifer that she had said enough. "What?" "I'm just making conversation," Jennifer replied carelessly. She tossed our toys aside and reached for the next colorful bag. "It's adorable that Marcus thinks he understands kids," she whispered. I watched my son's face remain carefully neutral and very blank. He had learned to hide his hurt over many years of family gatherings. The shower continued with party games and the cutting of the cake. During a diaper-changing race, Jennifer made a very pointed comment. She made sure everyone knew that Marcus was not invited to play. "We need people who actually know what they are doing," she shouted. "No offense, Marcus, but this requires a certain touch," she added. "None taken," Marcus replied, remaining quietly in his seat. I started to stand up to defend him, but my husband David stopped me. "It is not worth it right now," David whispered, holding my hand. Later, while people were eating, I heard Jennifer talking to friends. She was standing with a group near the dessert table in the corner. "The thing about Marcus is, he just isn't natural with kids," she said. "Some people have that spark, and some people just don't," she claimed. I stepped into their circle and said, "That is not true, Jennifer." I told them Marcus volunteers at a daycare every single week. I explained that he has been doing this for 2 years with passion. Jennifer waved her hand as if my words did not matter at all. "Volunteering for a resume isn't the same as being good with kids. You've seen him at family events. He barely talks to my children." "That is because you never let him near them," I said, my voice rising. "I don't let him because I know my children," she snapped back. "They need someone energetic, and Marcus just sits there like a statue." Amanda nodded and said some people are just better with adults. Marcus was standing near the punch bowl and heard the whole thing. His face was blank again, but I could see the pain in his eyes. "Marcus is actually great with children," I insisted to the group. Your kids ask for him specifically when they need help with school. That is different. That is just for homework, Jennifer replied. I am talking about actual care and emotional bonding, she said. She patted her belly and smiled at the women standing around her. When this baby arrives, I want people who understand children. I want people with natural ability, not someone like Marcus. Marcus walked over and told me it was fine and we should let it go. She is entitled to her opinion, Mom, he said in a low voice. Jennifer laughed and said, See, even he knows I am right. The afternoon dragged on with more comments and hidden insults. Every few minutes, Jennifer would make another dig at my son. Later, Jennifer's daughter Emma fell and scraped her knee on the floor. Marcus moved to help her up, but Jennifer rushed in immediately. I've got her, Marcus. Thanks anyway, she said, pushing him aside. He was just trying to help his niece, I told her angrily. I know. But Emma needs someone who knows how to handle this. She carried her daughter away, leaving Marcus standing there alone. David pulled me aside and said we should probably leave the party. Go before you say something you will regret, David warned me. I won't regret telling the truth about her behavior, I replied. Why should we let her keep humiliating our son in front of everyone? Marcus appeared beside us and asked if we could please go home. The defeat in his voice broke my heart into a million pieces. But then Jennifer called out to the room for one final game. She wanted all the parents to gather for a child-rearing trivia contest. The questions were about milestones, first aid, and baby nutrition. Marcus, you should sit this one out, Jennifer said with a smile. This is really for people with hands-on experience, she added. He has hands-on experience at the daycare, I said very firmly. The entire room went quiet as everyone watched us start to argue. Yes, you mentioned that, but it isn't real parenting, she replied. Your son will never be truly good with children, Jennifer said. Her words were light, but they landed like heavy stones in the room. He is too rigid and too awkward for children, she continued. Kids need warmth and spontaneity, things Marcus doesn't have. She looked around at all the guests, inviting them to judge him. Can you imagine Marcus soothing a crying baby at night? She asked. Marcus stood there with a pale face while a few people laughed. That is enough, I shouted, though my voice felt thin and weak. I'm not being mean, I'm just being honest, Jennifer told the crowd. My kids need sitters who connect, not someone going through motions. That is weird, I said, my voice suddenly becoming cold and steady. It's weird because your kids literally beg for him to babysit them. Jennifer's face changed, and she looked very confused and shocked. Emma and Jake ask for Uncle Marcus by name, I told her clearly. Remember last month when you were desperate for a sitter? Emma cried, because you told her Marcus could not come over. And remember when Jake had nightmares and would not sleep? You called Marcus at midnight because only he could calm Jake down. Jennifer's friends were watching her now with very strange looks. My mother touched my arm and told me not to do this at the party, but something inside me had finally snapped after 20 years. Do you want to know why Emma asks for Marcus? I asked the room. It is because he is the only adult who truly listens to her. He built a cardboard castle for her imaginary friend, I revealed. He spent 6 hours on it just to make your daughter happy. I didn't know he did that, Jennifer said in a very small voice. And Marcus taught Jake how to read before he started school. He did it because Jake was frustrated, and Marcus noticed it. He bought books with his own money and worked with him for months. Marcus put a hand on my shoulder and begged me to stop talking. No, I said, shaking him off. I am not stopping this time. I turned back to Jennifer, who was now looking very embarrassed. You want to talk about who is good with children? I asked. Marcus is the most popular volunteer at that daycare center. Last week, a boy who doesn't talk spoke his first word to Marcus. The parents cried and sent Marcus a card to thank him for his heart. The room was absolutely silent as I finished my long speech. Your son will never be good with children, I repeated her words. That is what you said about a man who gives his weekends to kids. A man who studies psychology just to be a better person for them. Jennifer's hand trembled as she held her glass of water. I didn't mean it in a bad way, she tried to explain to me. You did mean it. You've meant it for his whole life, I replied. You try to make him feel small at every single family event. He is too polite to defend himself, but I am done watching it. You are ruining my baby shower, Jennifer cried out in tears. No, I said quietly. You ruined it when you attacked my son. Amanda tried to tell us to calm down, but I told her to be quiet. You laughed at every insult, so you don't get to be the hero. I told Jennifer that her kids count the days until Marcus calls. He does a video story time with them every Sunday, I said. Jennifer started to cry and told me to stop because it hurt. I'm stopping because we are leaving, I said, looking at Marcus. We walked out of the room and nobody tried to say a word to us. In the parking lot, Marcus thanked me for standing up for him. I'm done pretending your aunt's behavior is okay, I told him. My mother texted me later asking if that scene was necessary. Yes, I texted back. I felt no regret for speaking the truth. Jennifer texted me saying I owed her a big apology for the day. You owe Marcus 23 years of apologies, I replied. The next morning, I had dozens of missed calls on my phone. Some family members were angry, but some were very supportive. A few days later, Emma called our house and said she missed Marcus. Jennifer took the phone and told me to stop turning her kids. I told the truth, Jennifer. If that's uncomfortable, ask yourself why. A week passed, and my mother called to say Jennifer was sad. The shower really affected her, Mom said. She's struggling. I hope she is thinking about how she treats Marcus, I replied. Mom said Jennifer wanted to come over and apologize to him. Marcus agreed to see her, but only if the apology was real. Jennifer came over the following Sunday looking very tired. She sat at our kitchen table and looked Marcus in the eye. I am sorry, Marcus. I have been terrible to you for a long time. She admitted she was jealous of how much her kids loved him. It isn't easy, Aunt Jen. I work at it a lot, Marcus told her. I see that now, she said, wiping tears from her eyes. She asked if Marcus would help her with the new baby sometimes. Marcus smiled a genuine smile and said he would like that. After she left, Marcus said he felt good about the conversation. I realized that our family peace had been a lie for too long. I promised myself that I would never stay quiet again. Protecting my son's dignity was worth any amount of trouble. He is a good man, and I will always be there to defend him. I finally learned that the truth is the only way to find real peace. Marcus went upstairs, and for the first time, he was humming a song. Everything was finally right, and our bond was stronger than ever. I had finally become the mother he deserved all along. The silence was gone, and in its place was a quiet strength. The world was still complicated, but our home was safe, and in this house, nobody would ever be made to feel small again. What remained was the love and respect we had for each other. That was the greatest gift anyone could ever receive. My son was happy, and that was all I ever really wanted. The truth had set us both free, and we were ready for what's next. We were moving forward, together, with our heads held high. Always and forever, I would be the shield for my son, and he would be the light that led us through the dark. The story of the blue baby shower was over, but our story continued, and this time it was a story of respect, love, and true family. We were home, we were safe, and we were finally happy. The end of the silence was the beginning of our real life. Everything was right, and everything was finally, truly okay. Would you like me to add a scene where Jennifer visits the daycare to see Marcus working?